Hey, welcome back to DIY Willy. Today, we're getting started on tearing apart the 212 for our next engine build. If you've seen the last video, you saw the parts that I plan to put on this engine. I said in the video that there were some changes that might be made, and there definitely will be some changes to be made over the last engine I built for NIBBI. I've got my other engines hanging out, my 79cc right here. I've got the 224 hanging out over there, and the new 212 right here in the middle of the work table. I kind of put this area together in my shop, well actually in my garage. I wanted something with a backdrop so that it wouldn't show so much of what is in my garage. I kind of wanted to have a little different work area. It's pretty bright outside, pretty warm right now, and working in here with the fan blowing on me is going to be a lot cooler. So I'll also be able to control some of the sound better and maybe some of the lighting. So yeah, we're gonna get in here. Ooh, I got my tools right there. We're gonna get in here and get this engine, this brand new 212cc Predator engine, taken apart for our next build. So I hope this works out pretty good down here. I would like to do more work at this table right here, maybe in the future. So yeah, we want to take this 212 apart, and basically we're going to strip it down to just the block itself, because we have quite a bit of parts to go inside the internal, the billet rod, the new cam, the new billet lifters. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on the inside. We're going to replace the head with a 14cc head, and yeah, there's just a lot of parts. The gas tank, you know, everything is brand new. It's never been started. Doesn't even smell like gas in there. It just smells like, I don't know, like a void. Like there's nothing in there. The tag is still here. Gas only, 10% ethanol blend. Woohoo! You know, there's a lot. There's a lot. How do you open this? There's a lot of oh yeah. There we go. Ow! Broke a nail. Look at that. Brand new air filter. Yeah, okay, so getting started. I'm going to take the air cleaner off, and that's 10mm bolts right here. I've got some tools set up on the side to make life easier. I think it'll just be that much easier. We could use power tools. The air cleaner bolts are 10mm like this, and I have my electric tools, you know, I could use, and I might break that out right now. But for the most, I mean, this could all just be done like this right now. So what I'm fighting right now is really just the hoses. You can take it out of the valve cover like that, give me a little extra room. This one, I could get a little extra room like that. There. Drop the gasket. This is a brand new gasket, so I'll probably keep it, even though I don't use these carburetors. I'll probably keep it. Let's see, you know what? I need a pair of pliers to get this off. Probably needle nose would have been better, but this will work just the same. There we go. Just move that clamp back. Be able to pull that off. Now what this is the vent for the tank. It's part of the emissions, kind of. You know, it'll vent as the gas heats up and expands. It'll vent through here, sends it back into the carburetor intake, allowing the engine to burn the vapors again. So you know, we'll just put that back together. Sorry, Predator, for you coming up with such a nice piece, and I'm just gonna, you know, take it off and remove it. But we'll keep that over there out of the way. Next, let's get to this exhaust. We don't need that. That's a 13. We'll just get it on here. Take that off. Wish I'd come up with something nice to do with some of these parts you take off. You know, you can put them up for sale, I guess, on like eBay or Craigslist, or just let somebody know, hey, I've got these parts, you know, anybody need them? You know? There we go. Brand new gasket here too. Hey, sounds like somebody's home. There we go, look at that. Clean inside. Just fabrication from the factory, you know, when they made it. There's the exhaust off. Now we gotta, to get the tank off, you got an 8mm bolt right here. And that's a pretty long one. I may have to use an extension. Get in there. So that was the 8mm. It's kind of long for the gas tank on the front. Now we're going to get to the gas tank bolts on the back of the block. They're 10mm. I've already loosened them up. I'm able to take them off with my fingers for the most part. Right here. Oh, that one's still kind of tight. Like I said, these are 10mm. I want on the front's 8mm. And we're going to get the parts piling up here. I should just be able to lift it off. I still have the carburetor connected. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take the linkages off. And that should be the 8mm again. You got one here on the head, one here on the block back here. And that will release this. We still have a couple things connected here for the throttle on the governor, but we'll take those off right now. These are really short screws. We'll need this one for the ground. When we do the ground on the coil, we'll reuse that screw. Now normally if you were to use this as a throttle for the engine, you would want to loosen this nut right here. Sometimes they say you can take out a couple washers, but I generally just loosen them so that this moves freely. Watch, like, just loosen it up like that. Now a little bit more. This is a lock nut on here, so it doesn't matter how much you loosen it, it won't come off. See? That's how you would make your mini bike or go-kart throttle if you were using the stock governor linkage, but we're not. So we're gonna take this off. Really need an extra hand here. There we go. Just had to give it a little extra Willy power. A little extra Willy power. There we go. These are kind of cool to hang on to. You never know when you're gonna need those. Now we got the linkage. We can disconnect the spring on the back. It just slips through like that. Now the linkage is off. Set it aside, and we can get to the throttle here. And bring it over, just pull it up. Now we can get to the carburetor. Get a screwdriver, pop that bad boy out of there. There we go. And I need my pliers to loosen the clamp. There we go. That was a challenge. At this point, you know, you can also take off your choke lever, which is really good if you had fuel in there. To put it in there like that, stopping your fuel leak. We don't have any gas in there, so I'm not going to worry about it. But hang on to these things. They're pretty valuable. Now, there we go. We got that blasted tank off of there. You can hang on to all this stuff like the fuel hoses, the vent hose, the clamps. It all comes in handy for the build in different stages, you know, you need for carburetor hose or whatever. Accumulating quite a bit of parts here. I'm going to put this one back in so I know where it is when I need it, even though I'm going to have lots of them. Now we can disconnect the wire and go ahead and pull the carb off. Look at that, brand new carb, ready to go. This is not the tunable really set because of the emissions here in California. You don't have the adjustment screw right there. We'll set it off to the side. We got the insulator. We'll set that off to the side. I have another insulator right here that's got the port on it. And, you know, you can see the difference without the port. See, it'd be like this, right? I wonder if you could drill it and put that port in there. That's kind of cool. Anyway, I have this one with a port if I ever needed to have like a pulse pump or something like that. Also a gasket here, still good. But I have a manifold that will have the pulse port in it already. Just set that over there. With the NIBBI, I need to clean the NIBBI. The NIBBI got dirty somehow and it quit working. I tried putting this one on here. This is a really nice carburetor too on the 224, but it's not jetted right for the engine to run. So I'll probably go back to the NIBBI. I just need to take it apart and clean it up. Now, different people at different times will take apart different parts. Me right now, I'm going to go ahead and take the governor arm off. And to do that, you have a 10mm here. Just loosen up the governor bolt. Take a screwdriver, spread it apart ever so slightly, and it should lift off just like that. You got your governor springs and throttle arm. It's a good idea to keep these arms and these springs. You never know when you're going to need them for throttles and whatnot. So yeah, here we are, and we want to get to the flywheel. So to get to the flywheel, we're going to get to there's 4 bolts. Put it on its side. There's 4 bolts, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. They're 8mm, probably pretty tight. You know what? Why am I going through this pain of hand tools? I've got electric tools. Ryobi power! I'm back with the Ryobi. Enough of the trying to suffer through. We don't need such a long extension. I'm using my 8mm long extension or socket and a short extension. See if the Ryobi's got enough torque. Yep. So much better. You could also at this time take your actual pull start off or recoil start if you wanted to at this time, because we're going to reclock it, turn it so that the pull angle is on this side. When it's on the engine, when it's on the mini bike anyway, we want the pull handle on this side. So, oh, we've got some wires here. I'm not used to dealing with these wires. I haven't had a new engine in a long time to deal with. So we got the kill switch here. And we got, there's the coil. And here is the kill switch. Come on now. And the oil cutoff switch. There we go. Get those all out of there. And your kill switch will ground out to the cover. Just like that. See right there, there's your ground and your kill switch. Chick, 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 chick. I don't like that one. I don't know, I guess they've changed the design. Also, you're just gonna set it off to the side over here. And we have the flywheel. Whoa! Let's get this coil off of here. We don't need it while we're gone. It is quite a bit easier with the Ryobi power. I'll tell you that. Thank you, coil. As you know, as you saw in the other video, we're going to be using a Paul's Karts hot coil rather than this coil. There's a resistor up here, and magneto style, you know, they run really well. They work well. They're restricted by the resistor, and for RPM whatnot, I guess. I haven't really ever seen that, but that's what they say. And well, we're not going to use it, and we're getting there. We're really getting there. Next is the flywheel, and that is the one nut I did not prepare for in this whole video. Was right there. So yeah, I guess I better get the tools for that and get back with you guys. So it's a 19mm or 3/4 down here on the flywheel on the crank, so we'll get that off right now. You just got one nut, the cup goes together, and pull the fins off, and we have our flywheel. Ba, ba, ba. And we will be taking that off. We're just going to give it a couple whacks. Put the nut back on. I'll get a pry bar and we'll hit it once or twice. Apply a little bit of pressure like this on the pry bar and give it a couple whacks, and this will pop right off the tapered shaft. So let me get that done and I'll come back to you. All right, so we put the nut back on. We put the pry bar under here. We gave it some pressure. We gave it 2 whacks. That should have freed it up on the taper. Like that. Ah! And there's a brand new flywheel. Will never get used again. It's pretty much a paperweight at this point. I'm also just going to set this out of the way. We can get a look at the engine block. A lot of tools piling up here. So here is your governor pin, and we're going to go ahead and drive that out. It just takes a punch and a hammer and just knock it out. You know, we're not going to be running this engine anytime soon, and the parts will just fall inside. When we take the side cover off, we'll be able to when we take the side cover off, we'll be able to remove all those parts. So again, let me get the right tool. Oh, I don't know how well it's going to do on this table. Let's just go ahead and knock it out. Just like that. Simple. It took like 2 whacks. Now it is loose inside, so don't think you can start the engine right now, because you can't. And we're still going to have to tap this and run a 1/4-20 bolt in there. Just like up here on the top. Let's take this part out too. Wouldn't that be funny to do that without taking the side cover off? I don't think it will come out, however. You just got this little clip on it. Just got to pull that little clip off. There's a... Yeah, see, it's not going to go through. We don't know where we're at. We'll get it out later. No big deal. Now let's go for the head. Now normally, for changing the carburetors up, you'd be taking these studs off. And you could take these studs off by double nutting them. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. You double nut them like this. The 10mm. Take two 10mm and tighten them up against each other, and then you would be able to turn these studs out. You can also use like vice grips or something. And if you got a good grip, you could probably use some channel locks. But we're replacing the head with a different head. What's all this blue stuff coming from? All over. It's all over, actually. But we're replacing the head, so we're just going to leave the studs in there. Now let's get to the valve. Take the valve cover off. I talked earlier about bagging a tank and everything, and look, I'm just leaving it all piled up here on the side. There's a valve cover off. This gasket would probably be okay to use another time, but we're not going to. Here's the valves. Let's see if we can get it up at top dead center. Right about there. Now these are 10 millimeter on the top. So these are just 10 millimeter on the top of your valves. These are your adjustment nuts. And now we can loosen up the swivels like so, and move those off to the side. We can pull the push rods out just like that, out of the guide plate and out of the engine. We're not going to need those anymore. I believe these are 13 millimeter, and it might be 12. See, is this a 12? Yeah, it is. Yeah, they're definitely 12. So, dropping everything here, folks. Let's go ahead, get this head off of here. Now these head bolts are 12 millimeter. We're just going to loosen them up. Oh, this doesn't have enough torque for it. Guess I need the big boy. Alright, these head bolts, I had to get out the big Ryobi and loosen them up. The little one just didn't have enough torque. But they're pretty long bolts. You can see they're pretty long. Now the head's going to want to fall off. It's got the dowel pins in there, but you don't want to just drop in. Okay, I'm going to run those back. Put the 10 millimeter nuts back on them. We're not using anything from this head, but it'll be good to keep around in case we need it. You know what's really nice is the head from the 224 is a lot nicer than the head on the 212, in my opinion. And maybe that head would be good to go back on a block. Oh, I forgot this one. I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm so excited to take this apart and get going on this build. I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. A lot of this hardware can be used in different places. It's all the same. There we go. I really was getting ahead of myself. Anyway, ready for this? Here we go. One more stupid bolt. Still got a couple threads in it. There we go. Look at that. Oh wow, I thought the piston was going to be at top dead center. It's not. It's all the way down at the bottom. There's the head bolts. We won't be using these anymore. Yeah. I don't think that engine's been started ever. Look at that. Styrofoam. Wow. Very nice. Bop, 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 bop. Bop, 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 bop. Intake. Whap. Exhaust. Oof. We're going to set this aside. Getting quite a collection of tools and parts up here. Well, there it is, pretty much the long block. See the piston? There's no carbon buildup on it. I don't think it's ever been fired. I wonder if we should have started it first. Should we have started this engine first? Well, kind of late now. You could probably reuse this head gasket. I don't know. I mean, it's probably still good. But we have new ones. And I should have brought some rags with me. Might as well go inside now. Well, you know what? No. Let's get this off. This is part of your oil level switch and the kill switch. Get that off. We can take this tin off. Take this off. It looks like it had some Loctite or something on it. Why is that all rusty like that, or all corroded? That's weird. Doing really good. This time, I'm going to be removing this and putting in a bolt. I think it's 5/16 I think that goes in there, or 7/16. No, this is 7/16 up here. I think that's 5/16. Oh, this is quarter. 7/16 or 5/16. So one of the two. We're going to find out. We're going to take this out and we're going to drill, tap it, and put a bolt in here too with some Loctite, just like up on top. Because Mighty's engine, even though it's been built for 2-3 years already, running it lately has just started to leak out this. I normally don't remove these. I usually leave them in there, and I just cut the wires. I've never had any trouble with it before. But now with Mighty's engine, it's starting to leak oil through here. So yeah, we'll definitely be removing it this time around. Now, should have brought something to cut these zip ties with. There we go. Plastic zip ties away. Let's take a look inside. I think these are 10mm. Yes. And hopefully my small Ryobi has the juice to get in there and get these suckers. Oh, let's go this one. Oh, it doesn't have the power. It doesn't have the power. Okay. Well, let me get the adapters for the big one, for the big impact, and I'll show you when we're done. So I got the big boy out, the big 1/2 inch impact, and loosen these all up. We can take all these side cover bolts out. Should have brought my rubber mallet. I should have. I don't want to use this one. We're gonna get a little bit of oil seepage. Let me see. Oh no, it's coming off. There we go. Perfect. Hold on for that. Hold on to that for me. 224cc. There we go. There's the governor parts laying around inside, down on the bottom. Got a little bit of oil in there. Look at that, the gasket tore. That's all right. Gasket's been in there a long time. Even though it's a brand new engine, gasket's been in there a long time. So I need to get this oil drained out of here. And then we'll go ahead and well, let me get the cam out. Get that out. We'll set it off to the side right here. Get these lifters out. These aren't going to be used. I've got the new billet lifters. Anyway, now we can see the oil in there, and we'll get that out of there right away. And when we get that out, we'll clean the gasket. We'll get the oil level switch out. We'll get the rest of the governor out. Then we can take the rod and get the block ready for cleaning up and reassembly, and then we can check it for clearances and have all that fun stuff that comes with building these engines. All right, let me get going on this. So I've got it all broke down. Well, the piston's still inside, as you can see right there. But I got the crank out. I've got the governor wheel out, the governor arm, the rod bolts, and of course the woodruff key for the flywheel. There's the bottom of the rod. There's the part that goes through the oil low flow sensor or low oil sensor. That's the wire that goes through the side of the block. There are some little washers you need to look for when you're in there. Make sure you get them all out. Like this one that was up on the top on the governor arm. You got one up here, up there too. You got another one here on the rod of the governor. If you remember, in my 224 build, this piece right here came off and was floating around in my engine. Check it out, make sure how much we got. What was that just fell down? What was that? Something just fell down in there. What the heck? What's that? What the heck? Quite some time, probably 2 or 3 months before I did the build, maybe even longer. And it did some damage inside the block. If I can remember, I'll put something here somewhere showing that damage and when it came off inside the block. Now let me show you what's going on inside. Can you see all these little chip marks? All these marks here, all these marks here, where that thing was being beaten around inside the case. Even on the cam, there's teeth that are damaged on the cam. This thing was bouncing around in there so much that it got against the cam, it got against the block. Take a look at the dipper. It's bent. It's been hitting that thing too. Huh. Isn't that something? The whole side of it's missing right here. Isn't that crazy? Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that or not. That is just nuts. So anyway, as I was saying, cranks out. Piston, we just need to push it through. It'll come out with the rod half. Said that's a really nice clean piston, man. I don't see how that's been ran at all. We'll just set all the parts over there. We'll reassemble that later. Pretty much the block is all empty except for the bearings and the seal. We got to clean off this gasket. I'll probably take these dowels out so I don't lose them. And it's time to start drilling and tapping and preparing this for the new build. You know, we got to drill down inside there and enlarge that hole a little bit for the flow so things drain better. We'll probably do that to like 1/4 inch, or I don't remember what I did last time, but right around 1/4 inch. Like I said, we're going to drill and tap these for 1/4-20, this one and this one on the back for the governor. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to drill and tap that for the correct size bolt. I don't remember if it's 5/16 or if it's 7/16. I don't recall, but we'll find out, and we'll get going on that. Also, we're going to remove the governor gear off the crank. That just eliminates some of the rotating mass. The lighter things are, the easier they work. So yeah, there we go. We got the engine all broke down. I need to go get these screws for the holes I'm going to plug. I don't have those. We're going to have to go get those. And we'll clean things up and put it away, and we'll get ready for our next video. The next video we will be assembling it, getting the rod put together, getting the piston put in, and continuing on with the build. So give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and come back for the next installment where there'll be much more here going on. I said I wanted to build this engine in as few videos as possible. However, I am limited on time, and we'll get through this together, and we'll get this engine running. This is going to be a great engine. And like I said, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment below for anything you want to know about or any suggestions you may have while we're going with this build. So thanks for coming, thanks for stopping by and checking out my videos, and check out the playlist for the other engines, the 224, the 79cc, and the mini bikes overall, and at the cars if you're interested. And I'll see you next time. Bye.